Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Ang mga aral ay ginintuang atin ng bawat guro na siyang gagabay sa iyong pagkamulat. Naway umukit ito sa iyong isipan, maging mapanuri, sundin ng wasto at nararapat. Kagandahang asal ang ipakita, ipadama ang pusong may malasakit. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Sakali mang tayo'y subukin ng unos, ating haharapin ng walang takot. Sasamahan ka ni Fernan at Dino, ang bagong barkada mo. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Hi there, Fernandino teens. Have you experienced or encountered an earthquake? Where do you think the shaking of the ground came from? I know you are too excited to answer my questions and wondering what might be our topic for today. Let us not wait, for you must be enthusiastic to learn new and exciting science concept today. And when you respond to your answers, make use of polite words to show your kind gestures as we proceed to the different questions. Welcome to another episode of Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. The title of today's episode is Wave, 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 How Do They Carry Energy? I am Mom Charmaine Lacayanan Medina, your teacher, lecturer for today. Let us go back to my questions earlier. Have you ever experienced or encountered an earthquake? Do you still remember the earthquake that shook Pampanga just a few years ago? That earthquake happened on April 22, 2019 at 5:11 p.m. with a magnitude of 6.1. Have you felt the ground shaking? It is quite frightening, right? An earthquake is the result of a sudden release of stored energy in the Earth's crust that creates seismic waves. But what are seismic waves? You will find out more about this concept as we go through this discussion. Before that, did you ever ask yourself about the origin of the shaking of the ground? Vibrating objects act as sources of different forms of waves. For example, a tidal wave is created by an earthquake beneath the ocean. Vibration is known as oscillation, is a repeated back and forth motion of an object. Remember that vibration is always the source of a wave. For you to be guided in our topic, check out this lesson's learning objectives. First, identify the two types of waves. Second, differentiate transverse wave from longitudinal waves. And third, enumerate the significance of electromagnetic waves. Let us check your prior knowledge about our topic by answering a few questions. I want you to write your answer in a piece of paper or type it in the comments section below. Are you ready, Fernandino teens? Number 1. It is a disturbance traveling through a medium or through an empty space. A. Waveform. B. Wave pulse. C. Wave. Number 2. What is the difference between mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves? A. Mechanical waves do not require a medium to propagate, while electromagnetic wave requires a medium to propagate. B. Electromagnetic waves do not require a medium to propagate, while mechanical wave requires a medium to propagate. C. Both mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves require a medium to propagate. Last number 3. Which best describe the relationship between energy and frequency of a wave? A. Energy and frequency are inversely proportional. B. Energy and frequency are directly proportional. C. Energy and frequency are not related. We will check your answers later. For now, let us proceed in discussing our topic. A wave is a periodic disturbance traveling through a medium or through an empty space or vacuum. It transfers energy without transferring matter. It moves away from a source and carries energy with it. Different application of waves happen in our daily life, not just the shaking of the ground. Water waves or waves in the ocean and sound waves are some of these applications. There are different terms that you need to understand before we proceed in our discussion. But to make it more exciting, I want you to name the terms by arranging the jumbled letters in your screen. Do not forget to write your answer in the comment section below or in a piece of paper. Let's start. What do you think is this? You are correct, Fernandino teens. The answer is waveform. Waveform is known as the picture of a wave. It is a graphic representation of the shape of the wave that indicates the frequency and amplitude. Second, amazing! This is a wave pulse. A wave pulse is known as single wave or a single disturbance. The last one is bravo! This one is known as a periodic wave, which is also known as wave train. A periodic wave is a series of wave pulse. Did you answer all correctly? If yes, click the thumbs up icon, or if you are watching at home, give yourself 3 claps for doing a great job. There are 2 types of waves, and one of the distinction is based on whether disturbances in a wave need a medium to travel through or not. Waves are classified into mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves. The main difference between electromagnetic and mechanical wave is that electromagnetic waves do not require a medium to propagate, whereas mechanical waves require a medium in order to propagate. Mechanical waves are also classified as transverse wave and longitudinal waves. Do you know the difference between the two? Let us have an experiment to understand the difference between transverse wave and longitudinal waves and how they are produced. The title of our experiment is, Let's Make Waves. What happens when wave passes by a certain point? The materials needed for our experiment are the following: rope at least 2 meters long, colored ribbon at least 1 foot long, coil spring or slinky, and adhesive tape. When we return, you will help me unlock the concept of transverse wave and longitudinal waves. We will perform the experiment, so please stay tuned. We will be right back after this short break.
Ang Schools Division Office City of San Fernando, Pampanga ay kaisa ng Department of Education sa pagsasagawa ng mga proyekto at programa na tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral. Inilunsad ang Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors upang magbigay ng educational at psychological assistance sa mga mag-aaral, magulang at stakeholders ng Division. Kaya, kung may nais kayong itanong tungkol sa pag-aaral, maaaring magpadala ng mensahe sa Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors Facebook page o tumawag sa mga numero na makikita sa ibaba ng inyong screen tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes sa ganap na alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Maaari rin kayong sumangguni sa ating guidance counselors na nagbibigay ng guidance and counseling services. Lahat ng inyong ibabahagi ay mananatiling confidential. Ang nasabing programa ay nagsisilbing daan upang malaman ang feedbacks ng stakeholders para matulungan ang ating divisyon na mapagbuti pa ang mga sumusunod na programa. Ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Tumawag na sa aming mga numero o bumisita na sa aming Facebook page at magpadala ng inyong mga katanungan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back to Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. Earlier, we discussed about the different terms involved in today's lesson. Do you still remember these terms? Let us check if you can recall them correctly. Number 1. Which of the following pictures show a wave pulse? Great! The answer is B. Wave pulse is a single wave. Number 2. Which of the following is a wave train? Excellent! Letter A. Wave train, which is known as periodic wave, are series of wave pulse. Number 3. Which best describe a mechanical wave? A. It requires a medium to propagate. B. It does not require a medium to propagate. C. It sometimes requires a medium or sometimes not. If you answered letter A, you are correct. Did you get all the correct answers? Brilliant! You are doing great, Fernandino Teens. Earlier, before the commercial break, I enumerated the materials that we used in our experiment, which is entitled, Let's Make Waves. Before we perform the experiment, take note of this question. What happens when a wave passes a certain point? You should also take note of our viewing questions. Number 1, what is the source of a wave pulse? Number 2, describe the motion of the hand as it creates the wave pulse. Number 3, describe the motion of the pulse with respect to the source. Does the wave transport the color ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope? Number 5. Does the wave transport the color ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope? Number 6. Does it move away from the source or move towards the source? Let us watch this video presentation for the actual experimentation.
For the first part of our experiment, we will try to understand the concept of a transverse wave and how to propagate this type of wave. The materials that we will use are rope and colored ribbon. First, strengthen the rope and place it on the floor. Ask someone to hold one end and pull the other end of the rope, then vibrate it up and down. You will be able to observe a wave pulse. I will create 3 wave pulses with different time interval. Next, tie one end of the rope on a rigid and fixed object. Example given, heavy table, doorknob, etc. Or you can ask someone to hold it. Then, attach a color ribbon on one part of the rope. You may use adhesive tape to fix the ribbon. Make a wave by continuously vibrating the end of the rope with quick up and down movements of your hand. While vibrating the rope, observe the motion of the colored ribbon. Remember that the colored ribbon serves as a marker of a chosen segment of the rope.
After watching the video, Fernandino teens, answer these questions which are related in our experiment. Are you ready? What is the source of the wave pulse? Excellent! The vibration due to a quick shake at one end of the rope. Describe the motion of the hand as it creates the pulse. Bravo! A quick up and down movement. Describe the motion of the pulse with respect to the source. You are keen observer, Fernandino teens. The pulse moved away from the source when I attached the color ribbon on one part of the rope. What did you notice? Let us continue answering the guide questions. Does the wave transport the color ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope? You are right. The answer is no. It does not transport the color ribbon to end of the rope. Describe the vibration of the color ribbon. That is right. As the wave passes by, the color ribbon moves up and down repetitively. How does it move as the waves pass by? Brilliant! As the wave passes by, it does not move in the same direction as the passing waves. Does it move away from the source or move towards the source? Great job! The wave moves away from the source and it vibrates along the axis perpendicular to the direction of travel of the passing waves. Transverse waves are a mechanical wave that requires a medium to propagate. In the activity earlier, what is the medium that we used? Correct! The rope is the medium used so that we can propagate a wave. Transverse waves occur when the individual particles or segments of a medium vibrates up and down perpendicular to the direction in which the wave travels. The rope that moves in an up and down direction is an example of a transverse wave. And remember that the pulse moves away from the source and that it's based on the definition of a wave. But to make a vivid explanation of this statement, I want you to observe this one. The energy of the wave is moving away from the source while the particles of the wave vibrate up and down. That is why a transverse wave is perpendicular to the direction in which the wave travels. Examples of transverse wave are ripples of the surface of water, vibration in a guitar string, electromagnetic waves, seismic wave, particularly S wave, which is also known as secondary wave or shear wave. A seismic wave is a vibration generated by an earthquake explosion or similar energetic source and propagated within the earth or along its surface. Also, shear waves are caused points of solid media to move back and forth perpendicular to the direction of propagation. As the wave passes, the medium is sheared first in one direction and then in another. To get to know more about transverse wave, you will watch this next video from PET Interactive Simulation on how to make a transverse wave and its parts.
This is PET Interactive Simulation about wave on a string. I will set up the wave by clicking the oscillate and slow motion. The amplitude will be set up at 1.25 cm, while the frequency is 1.55 Hz. I will start creating a wave pulse. I want you to observe the wave. Again, what is the movement of the wave pulse? Nice one! The wave moves up and down and the pulse moves away from the source. Let us proceed with the parts of a transverse wave. The highest point of a wave is known as the crest, while trough is the lowest point of a wave. This is the normal or equilibrium position, which is the midpoint of the wave, while an amplitude is the maximum distance of a crest or trough from the equilibrium position. Lastly, wavelength is the maximum distance of a crest to another crest or from a trough to another trough or between two successive identical parts of a wave. The symbol of wavelength is an inverted Y, which is known as lambda. This symbol is used throughout mathematics, physics, and computer science. For example, lambda is used to represent the eigenvalues of a matrix in linear algebra, the wavelength of a wave in physics, and anonymous functions in computer science.
Now that you know the concept of transverse wave and its parts, let us continue the second part of our experiment. In the next video, you will understand the concept of longitudinal wave. Please take note of our viewing questions. Number 1. Does the wave transport the colored ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope? Number 2. Describe the vibration of the colored ribbon. Number 3. How does it move as wave pass by? Again, you need to listen and be a keen observer, Fernandino teens.
The materials needed for this experiment are coil spring or slinky, table, and colored ribbon. For the procedure, first, connect one end of a long table to a wall. Place coil spring on top of a table. Attach one end of the coil spring to the wall or ask someone to hold the end part of the slinky while you hold the other end. Do not lift the coil spring. Vibrate the end of the coil spring by doing a back and forth motion parallel to the length of the spring. Observe the waves along the coil spring. Then, attach a colored ribbon on one part of the coil spring. Adhesive tape to fix the ribbon. Again, vibrate the coil spring back and forth, then observe the motion of the colored ribbon. Remember that the colored ribbon serves as a marker of a chosen segment of the coil spring.
Let us answer some of the questions about the video earlier. Does the wave transport the colored ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope? Correct. The answer is no. It does not transport the colored ribbon from its original position to the end of the rope. Describe the vibration of the colored ribbon. Marvelous! As the waves pass by, the colored ribbon moves back and forth or side by side repetitively. How does it move as waves pass by? Does it move away from the source or move towards the source? Great job! The wave moves away from the source and it vibrates along the axis parallel to the direction of travel of the passing waves. If you're having fun, just hold your emotion because we will continue the discussion full of learning and fun only here at Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. Stay tuned!
Maya po oras kaya kayo, Fernandinos. Ako pala ay Elwin Arl Serrano ng City Tourism Office ng Siyudad San Fernando. Ngayong bulan na ini, pagmasusyan tayo ang National Heritage Month na ating temang Victory and Humanity, Upholding Filipino Heritage and Identity. Kambena nini, metong karang aktibidades na ng siyudad, apin ng launching ng bayong Heritage Passport. Yung Heritage Passport, apin ng metong karing proyekto ng kaya katamong siyudad, yung pamanamuna ng Mayor Edwin D. Santiago. Anong nuka rin makalagelangan ding eganagan ng heritage sites, heritage structures, na akit tamo kin kay katamong heritage district. Makakayado din kini, ding importansya da ding mapil na tradisyon, kay ni syudad, kalupa na ning pamangawang parol, ang po yung pamangalesa. May aho siyang heritage passport, uling atin kang dapat gawan, anong nukaran puntalan mo lading at yung passport, at saka ka mag-selfie. Kay ba't kanta, palto making tourism office, at mamiyalang sticker ka rin eganagan ng apuntulan mong lugar. At timong may ngari ang tutong passport. Balo mingeni, panahon na ini, etamo makain bisa lumal, uli na ng COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman kimbanwa nga ini, agkatan ko ding bikers tamo, edad 18 hanggang 50, imbis na lumaot kayo po, di na nyo lang dita ka oras di kaya katamong heritage structures, kaya ni syudad. Anya naman karing mumunang 50 bikers ang makayari kaya katamong heritage passport, Medina lang premyong only San Fernando loot bag. Inggawan nyo mo bakit ta makapag-register, punta kayo mismo opisina na ng City Tourism, ng munisipyo, at saka kayo magdalang metong valid ID. Kabinan kaya kayong heritage passport, ating makasipit ang instruction nung nano pa ing dapat gawan. Anya naman ka rin hanggang kapadyakin, nanano ko pa, tara na!
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back to Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. I am so glad that you are still here with me. During the second part of our discussion, we learned about transverse waves, its part, and examples. And you deserve a job well done. Shoulder tap for that. Let us proceed with the discussion about longitudinal wave. This type of a wave occurs when the individual particle of a medium vibrates back and forth or side by side in the direction in which the waves travel. As stated earlier, The energy in longitudinal wave moves away from the source, and take note that the particle of the medium is parallel to the direction of the wave. This video clip will show you about the statement. In the activity, the slinky that moves back and forth or side-by-side direction is an example of longitudinal wave. Later, I will give more examples of longitudinal wave. But you need to know first the parts of a longitudinal wave. If a transverse wave has different parts, longitudinal wave has only two parts. Look at this video clip. Can you determine the parts of a longitudinal wave? Great! The parts of a longitudinal wave are compression and rarefaction. Compression is the region where the particles are closest together, while rarefaction is the region in a longitudinal wave where the particles are farthest apart. Sound is an example of a longitudinal wave because compressions and rarefaction in the air produce it. The air particles vibrate parallel to the direction of propagation of a wave. Another example is seismic P wave or primary wave. P waves, also called compressional or longitudinal wave, give the transmitting medium, whether liquid, solid, or gas, a back and forth motion in the direction of the path of propagation. Thus, stretching or compressing the medium as the wave passes any one point in manner similar to that of sound waves in air. Another thing, animals can sense the earthquake waves much before humans. They have the ability to sense the seismic P waves, which travel only in the interior of the earth. Even humans can feel a little bump and rattle of these waves, but they are mostly unnoticeable to us. The P waves are the fastest and they require a medium to travel. These waves cause the interior of the earth to move back and forth in a longitudinal manner. Let us have a summary of our discussion before we proceed with the next part. For this activity, you will supply the missing terms. I will read the statements, then after that, I will give you 10 seconds to answer. You may write your answer on a sheet of paper or type your answer in the comment box below. Are you ready? Let's begin. Waves can be typified according to the direction of motion of the blank particles with respect to the direction in which the waves travel. Waves in a rope are called blank waves because the individual segments of the rope vibrate to the direction in which the waves travel. When each portion of a coil spring is alternatively compressed and extended, blank waves are produced. Let us check if your answers are correct. Waves can be typified according to the direction of motion of the vibrating particles with respect to the direction in which the waves travel. Waves in a rope are called transverse waves because the individual segments of the rope vibrate to the direction in which the waves travel. When each portion of a coil spring is alternatively compressed and extended, longitudinal waves are produced. What a great job, Fernandino teens! Now, tap your shoulder and say, "Nice one, self!" Let us continue our discussion. Mechanical waves require a medium to propagate like rope, water, or slinky, while electromagnetic wave does not require a medium to propagate. I will present an electromagnetic spectrum. This shows the various types of electromagnetic waves, the range of their frequencies and wavelength. The wave speed of all electromagnetic waves is the same and equal to the speed of light, which is approximately equal to 300 million meters per second. Can you help me identify the 7 electromagnetic waves? Great! Let us enumerate them. Radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma rays. Thank you for helping me in enumerating the 7 EMW or electromagnetic waves. Examine again the electromagnetic spectrum and describe the relationship between frequency and wavelength of each electromagnetic wave. But before that, frequency pertains to the number of cycles per unit time or number of complete waves passing a fixed point in a given amount of time. If you will compare the frequency and wavelength of each electromagnetic waves, radio wave has the lowest frequency and longest wavelength, while gamma ray highest frequency and shortest wavelength. And to describe the relationship, it is inversely proportional because when the frequency is high, the wavelength is short and vice versa. To make it more vivid to everyone, here is an illustration showing the different electromagnetic waves and its waveform. Observe the wavelength each electromagnetic wave. Using the electromagnetic spectrum, describe the relationship between frequency and energy. You are keen observers, Fernandino teens. The frequency and energy are directly proportional. When the frequency is high, the energy is also high. To be clear, let us compare the frequency and energy of radio wave and gamma ray. Radio wave has the lowest frequency and lowest energy, while gamma ray has highest frequency and energy. If we will arrange the electromagnetic waves in ascending order based on its frequency, therefore, we will start with radio wave, followed by microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma ray. Electromagnetic waves consist of disturbances or vibrations that can travel even without a medium, like what I said a while ago. For example, the light from the sun is an electromagnetic wave that travels through the vacuum between the earth and the sun. Electromagnetic waves can do this because they do not rely on vibrating molecules. In vacuums, all electromagnetic waves travel at a speed of about 3 times 10 to the 8th power meter per second. This is often called the speed of light in vacuum. Electromagnetic waves are produced by the vibration of charged particles. If you want to learn more on the applications of electromagnetic waves in our daily lives, watch the previous episode of Ma'am Azinet A. Romero entitled Electromagnetic Waves, Its Types, Applications, and Effects. Be proud of yourself, for you all learned a lot today in our discussion. But for now, hold your excitement for a while and let us have a short break. Relax for the meantime and listen to some of the friendly reminders of DepEd and CLTV in our commercial break. Stay tuned!
Hindi lamang sa larangan ng pangkabuhayan apektado ang maraming pamilyang Pilipino, kundi maging sa larangan ng pagkatuto ng bawat batang Pilipino. Inilunsad ng siyudad ng San Fernando ang programang Nurturing Environment and System for Thriving or NEST, isang education community pantry na naglalayon para sa isang malawakang pagtulong, pagantabay at paggabay na ang focus ay ang makapagbigay ng tulong at suporta sa ating mga mag-aaral sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng educational needs gaya na lamang ng school supplies, tutorial sessions, study tips, at iba pang mga pamamaraan na mas lalong makatutulong sa pag-angat ng ating edukasyon. Dahil hindi hadlang ang pandemya sa magandang kinabukasang naghihintay sa ating mga mag-aaral. Sino-sino nga ba ang mga kalahok sa programang ito? Sa pagtutulungan ng ating school administrators, guro, magulang, at iba pang mga miyembro ng ating komunidad gaya ng barangay officials at sangguniang kabataan ay siguradong magiging mas matagumpay ang programang ito. Paano nga ba ang magiging proseso ng naturang programa? Una, magkakaroon tayo ng isang Facebook group, ang Pampanga High School Nest Education Community Pantry na pangungunahan ng Educational Pantry Coordinator. Ang mga magulang, tagapangalaga at mga guro ay ia-add ng ating Educational Pantry members sa Facebook group na ito. Sa page na ito maaaring i-post ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga o sino mang miyembro ng Educational Pantry ang kanilang mga kahilingan o requests. Kailangan ding ilagay ang pangalan ng mag-aaral, grade at section para sa mas agarang aksyon. Oo nga pala, hindi lang requests ang pwedeng i-post. Pwede ring mag-post ang mga nais magbigay ng tulong o mga gustong mag-donate. Sabi nga nila, sharing is caring. Tandaan na ang Facebook group na ito ay pribado at posts na may kaugnayan lamang sa page na ito ang maaaprobahan. Mayroon din palang Google Form na ipamamahagi kung saan maaari nating isumite ang ating requests o kahilingan. Paano naman ang mga walang internet access sa bahay? Huwag mangamba dahil merong mga nakalaang drop boxes ang ating paaralan na kung saan maaaring ihulog ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang kanilang requests. Sa mga nais namang mag-donate ng school supplies, maaaring ilagay ang mga ito sa tabi ng drop boxes. Maaari ring mag-donate ng mga kagamitan o cash donation kaakibat ang pagsusumite ng deed of donation form. Pangalawa, mahalaga ang ugnayan ng mga guro at ng mga magulang o tagapangalaga sa programang ito. Gamit ang video calls o chats ay ipahahayag ng mga guro ang adhikain ng programang ito sa mga magulang o tagapangalaga. Maaari ring gawin ang orientation na ito ng face-to-face kasabay ng schedule ng kuhanan ng mga module. Gaya ng nabanggit, hindi lamang mga bagay ang maaaring i-donate. Pwede ring mag-conduct ng tutorial session, study tips, at iba pang mga kagamitan sa pagkatuto gaya ng mga aklat o kaya ay gadgets. Ikatlo, ang requested needs ng ating mga magulang o tagapangalaga ay ililista ng ating Nest focal person. Ang mga coordinator naman ang mag-aayos ng mga ito. Ang advisors ng ating mga mag-aaral, guidance counselor, at iba pang mga guro ay ipaaalam sa ating mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang petsa at oras ng pamimigay ng requested needs na gaganapin sa paaralan. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to raise a child. Kaya naman aktibo at iba yung pakikilahok ang inaasahan sa pagsasanib puwersa ng paaralan at barangay na siyang tutukoy sa pangangailangan ng bawat Fernandinong mag-aaral at kikilos upang matugunan ito sa tulong at suporta rin ng mga miyembro ng komunidad. Isang malawakang komunidad para sa isang produktibong educational community pantry ay tiyak na lilikha ng iba yung pagkilos upang maging mas magaan at madali ang pagkatuto ng bawat kabataang Fernandino. Kaya naman tandaan, magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha ayon sa pangangailangan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back to Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. I am so glad that you are still tuned in. During the previous discussion, you were able to learn the definition of waves. To wrap up our topic, I will use a concept map so that you can easily remember the concepts about waves. Wave is a disturbance traveling through a medium or through an empty space or vacuum. It transfers energy without transferring matter. A wave is a periodic disturbance that moves away from a source and carries energy with it. Waves are classified based on whether disturbances in a wave need a medium to travel through or not. The first type of wave is mechanical wave. It requires a medium in order to propagate. It can be solid, liquid, or gas. Mechanical waves include transverse wave and longitudinal wave. The main difference of the two is that a transverse wave occurs when the individual particles or segments of a medium vibrates up and down perpendicular to the direction in which the wave travels. While longitudinal wave occurs when the individual particle of a medium vibrates back and forth or side by side in the direction in which the waves travel. Electromagnetic waves do not require a medium to propagate. Examples of these are the 7 electromagnetic waves, which includes radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma ray. Since we are now all equipped with knowledge about our lesson, prepare your pen and paper for our activity. Let's do this. I will read the question and choose an answer from the choices that will flash into your screen. Are you ready, Fernandino teens? Let us start. Number 1. It is a disturbance traveling through a medium or through an empty space. A. Waveform. B. Wave pulse. C. Wave. Phenomenal! The answer is C. Wave. Earlier, I discussed that wave is a disturbance traveling through a medium or through an empty space or vacuum. It transfers energy without transferring matter. A wave is a periodic disturbance that moves away from a source and carries energy with it. Number 2. What is the difference between mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves? A. Mechanical waves do not require a medium to propagate, while electromagnetic waves require a medium to propagate. B. Electromagnetic waves do not require a medium to propagate, while mechanical waves require a medium to propagate. C. Both mechanical waves and electromagnetic waves requires a medium to propagate. Incredible! The answer is B. Number 3. How will you describe the relationship between energy and frequency of a wave? A. Energy and frequency are inversely proportional. B. Energy and frequency are directly proportional. C. Energy and frequency are not related. Impressive, Fernandino teens! If your answer is B, that is correct. If the frequency is high, the energy is also high. And if the energy is low, same as the frequency. Number 4. Which of the following is an example of transverse wave? A. Sound wave. B. P wave. C. S wave. If your answer is letter C, S wave, you are correct. S wave which is also known as secondary wave or shear wave. A seismic wave is a vibration generated by an earthquake explosion or similar energetic source and propagated within the earth or along its surface. Also, shear waves are cause points of solid media to move back and forth perpendicular to the direction of propagation. As the wave passes, the medium is sheared first in one direction and then in another. Did you answer all correctly? Congratulations! Before I end our discussion, I will share a quotation from Danny Meyer. Life is a series of waves to be embraced and overcome. To overcome the different waves in our life, remember that these are only challenges that you need to conquer. In this time of pandemic, we experience first wave and second wave of COVID-19. But we overcome this by following safety protocols, and aside from that, the medium we use are sanitizer to kill the coronavirus, face mask, face shield, and vaccine. With that, here are the references used in this presentation. Once again, I am Mom Charmaine Lacayanan Medina saying, learning is easy at your reach. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.
Bagong umaga, yakapin mo ang bagong pag-asa. Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin.